Okay, guys, it's another episode of Hello Day with me, Shiko Kaitani. We are already on fire, bringing you conversations that matter. Like I said in our first episode, we're looking for transformational content. We want you to actually use this, okay, for your own good. So we want it to be provocative. And I kind of like to use the word mature with this podcast. But thank you so much also for all the love that we are receiving on social media. Be sure to subscribe. Also, check us out on our socials. You'll see those handles at the bottom of your screen. And would be most appreciated if you actually share this content. So this is episode 2. Do not ask me where I found this guy. But he has been MIA, if you ask me, because everybody always asks a question, what happened to that guy? What happened to that guy? Maze, he's one of the illest MCs in the game. But we found him and he's here. You'll call him Boniface if you know him in person. But we know him as Boneye from Pune in the house. And I'm sure if I say Minim Genge, Napitanga na zile ziko maji, Zime Blakey, you got that didn't die.
She can give you a good one.
Hey, Boneye.
Bogibenda.
Hey. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
High five. What do you think about my rapping skills?
Uko sawa, by the way. Unajua kwa industry sija notice mademu wengi wanaweza rap vile unaweza. So kuna gap.
Do you know how long it took me to rehearse that when that song came out, when you guy came out? Really? I was always just like, Minim Genge, and then I started again. Minim Genge, and then everybody only knows the punchlines when each of you is being introduced, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what people say in the club.
Yeah.
So for you, it's Boneye, Bogibenda,
and that's the part. Ganapenda.
Hey.
Cheki nikirusha that shy guy, najua anapendaga that sly guy. Tunawatembelea, tunawagongea. Tuachi hapa.
Boneye, it's such a pleasure having you on the show.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Let me tell you, when I look at you today, I see such a different guy. Mm-hmm. Like, what happened to you? Why have you been MIA? Where have you been? And I think that's the first thing I asked you when I bumped into you just recently. I was like, whoa, umekuwa wapi wewe?
Life, let's say life. So there are priorities in life. And this is what I like to say. And what ushinda ukiniuliza, umekuwa wapi? That's one reason is that I'm not out a lot.
Right.
Yeah. Because I'd rather be in with the kids and the family than be out doing nothing. So my time is valuable in that sense. Nice. Parenting and being a father is not something I learned from anybody. So I'm doing it on the go.
Where? Yeah.
I'm doing it on the go, and I'd like to parent differently. There are also other, businesses that I run. I'm in the green building space.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm a founding director of the Kenya Green Building Society. Nice. I run a consultancy called Web Limited, which is purely for certifying green buildings. We're the pioneer company actually in the region. We've certified buildings like Garden City, Daniel Towers, all the Sabi School. So I like to say I'm busy.
Right.
Yeah.
You're busy being a businessman.
I'm busy being busy. Because at some point I was asking guys, okay, kuna mseli niambia bethe, hey, we, bona umesahau kuwa star. And I was taken aback. I'm like, what exactly do you mean?
Yeah.
So him being one of us, like a musician, actually he's my friend.
Right.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. So I asked him, kuwa star kwako ni nini?
Right.
Kwa star kwako ni uko kwa club kila siku, umekalia counter, today mtu wa kampo, tuna dance hapo, tunaimba ngoma zako. I'm like, me kwangu, it's very different.
Right.
Like, what gives me more satisfaction, maybe nimetoka job, and around 5.
Right.
When I park and the door opens, there are my kids running to hug me.
Yeah.
And my wife, or if she's in the house, like, hey, welcome home. That is the most satisfying. Hiyo ndio ustaa kwangu.
Wow.
Ustaa tena ni uko na ngapi kwa bank account.
Thank you.
So unaniambia nimesahau kuwa star. Hey, tunataka tubishane. So yeah.
This is
So
it.
I've been busy being busy and doing what I believe is of most importance.
Is this who you are, and was this value system there when you started your music career?
So in the beginning, when I started the music career, actually from day one, actually can never pinpoint when I started my music career. That's the funny thing. So I believe I was born in it.
Yeah.
And it just came to mature when it came to mature. But I've always believed that, so Boneye is different from Chege. So Chege is me as a person who is not owned by the fans.
Yeah.
Boneye now is the artist. And I kept those two identities until today. So if you notice, like, anywhere I'm appearing on media, on stage, as Boneye, I always have the sunnies on. Madigolo, Maugolo. But when I'm on the streets, I'm being Chege. When I'm in the boardrooms, when I'm doing my other businesses.
Correct.
I won't have this. I won't walk into a boardroom to ask for a 20 million job with sunnies on. So now that is Chege.
Yeah.
And Chege manages Boneye because Boneye has a huge ego. He has to be kept in check.
Right.
So that is how I kept the balance. And Chege being a businessman and somebody who, like, we come from humble beginnings. And I was sure that I don't want fame to get into my head, first of all. And because that's where now depression starts coming in.
Right.
Yeah. So you believe you're famous, then one day you are not. And then what do? You lose it.
Right.
Yeah. So I took music as what it is, as a career like any other. Yeah.
Yeah. When you think about it and how far you've come, being also one of, or rather a member of one of the most formidable, can I say, groups in Kenya. And I say that because you guys in your own way did shape pop culture. You hear your words, your phrases from your music being used in everyday language. That's a lot of influence, You see people, kind of referencing to your music, your artistry. That's a lot of influence. So you are part of what our culture is today and how people and how young people even vibe, But the thing here is it's so hard to be able to take away the stardom from the individual. How did you deal with moments where there was temptations, where that stardom, had to come through? The publicity, the women, all that, the partying, the booze. How did you manage to keep it all together and say, let me just remind myself I'm Chege?
Yes. So I did it this way.
Yeah.
At the peak of my career, I got married.
Wow, you made the crazy decision. Because everyone thought you were crazy.
Yeah. Actually, friends around me, my mates, kina Frasha and Gabu, like, Bogibenda, juu pia nilikuwa hatari, si ati hatujakanyagana hii jiji. Anyway.
So silly.
So I got married because I could see where this was heading.
Right.
Because women or girls, I would like to call them girls because by then they were young ladies, tend to throw themselves at you.
Yeah.
Not because they know you, it's because of who you are. You're popular. And at some point, I sat down with my good friend Frasha. I met Frasha in class 5.
What?
Yeah, back in primary. And that's when we came up with this dream of, like, you know what? One day we'll be musicians and we'll make it out of this ghetto. And we will go and represent Kenya.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then Frasha introduced me to Gabu along the way in college.
Right.
And we went ahead and did it.
Yeah.
So then this discussion I was having with Frasha is, you know what? No, I'm a dem. I'm a dem wanakam wanajipa. Unajua bedhe kuna trick inaendelea hapa. Ude manakam nini mna vibe anajipa, anaenda naambia mabeste zake, kidogo mabeste zake ndio hao uko nao.
Yeah.
Wanajipa. So at the end of the day, now, okay, wait a minute. Nani, I don't know whether I can use this word hapa.
No, go right ahead. It's my podcast.
Between wewe na madem, nani kuro? Who's being used? You know?
You can't be serious.
Yeah, who's being used?
Okay, yeah, but because there's some mind fuckery going on here.
Exactly. And you can't share yourself with so many people. And he was like, hey, wait a minute. And that's when, that was around me getting married and all that. And avoiding the club scene.
Yeah.
Because I had this strong value, like, you can't be an artist and you're out there every night.
Yeah.
I was saying, watu wangapi watakama walipe 2,000 wakupate wakuja kuwatch show yako Carnival na ulikuwa na perform your last night Rezoras for free.
It's true.
You see?
And taking up your time, your energy.
Your energy. So kuna ka difference kalikuwa hapo kati yangu na awasi wengine. But yeah, at the height of my career, I got married.
Right.
Marriage is a whole different discussion, if you ask me.
Correct.
That I believe that it has its beautiful moments, but realistically, and what is going on in society right now, with the different generations, kuna generation next inakuja inaitwa Alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alpha ndio next after Z.
Yes.
Gen Z ni Alpha. But I'm like, these people, maybe I'm a hopeless romantic because of the era I come from.
Correct.
And I believe in relationships and love and marriage. But it's different in this society right now. And I believe, even us, that the marriage as an institution, as it is, was imposed on us. And it needs to be interrogated and redefined.
So that we have a new meaning to it.
A new meaning and a new direction. Okay, this is marriage.
Yeah.
A new definition, actually.
It's true.
Because the Westerners just came and like, pop,
but
this is marriage.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have one partner.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want to be polygamist. I can't.
Because I think that's what you just said.
I do not have the time, the energy, and the money.
Oh, well, I'm glad you just cleared that up because I was like, oh, okay, tell us something that we don't.
At an earlier age, like now I don't have the time. I cannot invest my emotions to...
That's just you being a Kikuyu.
Digihota.
Chege cannot.
Digihota. Besha isho nenyi gimuno. Boma mbili na watu indio hawa.
Aki watu wa Mount Kenya, surely.
Dayo nyoba, dayo. So... yeah, that's what it is. Otherwise, we'll continue having divorces. We'll continue having domestic violence in the marriages.
Infidelity. You know, there's that one for, okay, sawa, you made a mistake. Now, it's like all up in your face.
Sahi una DM mtu kesho mnapatana. I'm like, wait. Huyu mtu hakuwa na kitu ingine anafanya.
No, they did not.
I'm like, okay, we need to redefine marriage. Because it has... it's against the grain of what is natural.
Correct.
As an African. That's what I believe.
You know, we were just talking about this before we started recording. You know, when you look at artists, let's say like Jay-Z, for example, you know, they tell you there's a difference between being in music and then being in the music business.
Yes.
And I think one thing that I've noticed about mingling with artists like you, very seasoned ones, that is, it's very paramount that you get the business aspect right. What do you want to talk to those who are thinking about jumping to the music game right now and the mistakes that artists have been making? Because we're just talking about a group. The way they came in is vile walitoka in quick succession. So these are some of the secrets that I think you need to share with guys in this game. So
one thing I know for sure is that artists are very emotional when it comes to artists on any sphere. Like could be an artist, how kuchora, whatever. As long as you are creative.
You're creative, right?
You are very emotional when it comes to other people putting a value to your art.
Oh, okay.
So mi ukinita uniambie hizi ngoma zote, like now I was going through our portfolio, my portfolio with Msioka. And I realized I have more than 100 songs.
Wow.
Done.
Yeah.
And there are 2 other albums coming. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. How do you manage all that and make that make you money. So there's showbiz.
Showbiz, right.
And people confuse showbiz with kiki, with clout. No, clout comes and goes.
Yeah.
So you can't invest your artistry based on clout.
Yeah.
Ati leo natoa ngoma kesho, so lazima nidanganyane, nimeachana na wife yangu.
Yeah.
I find that very silly, I'm sorry. Lazima ndio watu waanze kuniongelea, ndio by the time watu wanaongea nina trend, ni release hii ngoma.
And there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that crap.
Like, what happened to the belief that your art is good enough to take out there and top the charts without kiki? Because see, tukianza ngoma hakukuwa YouTube.
By the way, come to think about it, actually, when you look at Carrie, the song, and you look at the picture quality of Carrie, that was like the onset of things.
Correct.
With Nemo.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So there was no, like, by the time we were doing Una, that's when we used to take to Pinye the DV tapes. Shika, please, cheza hii ngoma yetu.
So it had to be about perfection for you guys.
Perfection, the art had to speak for itself.
If you're like, you guys, Mazed, that verse Z, scratch, take it from the top.
Hit ni hit. And actually, by then, I remember we were huge across the country, and people couldn't tell, like, who is this? Sasa si tumeingia tumeanza kujifunika. Madigaga, Frasha amepiga ngepa mpaka kwa mapua. Nini ujui hawa ni kina nani, like ukapatana nao. To a point that we were called to Kisumu for a show. We went by bus, and the promoter made us sing our songs just to make sure it's us.
Oh my God.
Si watu tu wametokelezea wamekaa.
That is so crazy.
Then si lazima imba si lazima. And okay, sawa ni nyinyi.
You guys come through.
You guys come through, go perform and all that. So take away social media, take away the clout. What does your art speak to? How far can it take you? And when we were talking about that group we were talking about before, I mentioned something. Shelf life of a song. Right now, that group, if I ask you when you last heard one of their songs,
right,
you can't remember.
Can't.
But Kare, kushoto kulia, you guy, whatever, sijipigi kifua, are played everywhere, every day.
Absolutely, because when we look at old school Kenyan music, it must be on the list.
Exactly.
They must actually be on that list. So hakuna mix by the way inachezwa bila, those 4 jams at least.
It's shelf life. And, I think quality, the musicality. So this is what people don't get. The musicality and quality of production. When our songs, like Kare, when we went to perform in Lagos, Nigeria, and the Nigerians were singing word to word.
Wow, that is so amazing.
And I was like, wait a minute. They're saying word to word, word to word. And I'm like, okay, that's the power of music.
It is.
And the awards we won, the MTV, the Channel O.
Wow,
those people don't understand what we are saying. So what they listen to is the musicality.
I love it.
The intelligence of the music. How is it produced? Arrangement, whatever. So not everybody is going to be a producer. Yes, there's that hit and miss. You get into your bedroom, you do a hit song, and then you're popular. Okay, and then what?
Yes.
What's the strategy? What are you striving to achieve with that? So I think gengetone, urban tone artists need to come around and think about that a lot. I'm not saying they're not talented.
Right.
Because even us when we were starting, tulikuwa naambiwa hii muziki gani mnapiga. There was a lot of resistance. So resistance will always be there.
When you're still new. Yeah.
But now it's how you push it and what you strive to achieve with it.
Right.
Music is a career and a business like any other. So back at Decimo Records, so actually I meet a lot of people and they're like, hey, ulienda wapi? So mtu ananiuliza nilienda wapi? Ni msichana dance to drinks na mayanks. Ajui ni ngoma yangu. Kuziana alinizoea nikiwa P-Unit.
That's true.
So ni msichana dance bonge. Ajui ni ngoma yangu. But what I did, like after P-Unit went their separate ways, we're still friends.
This is the thing. I wanted to get to that.
No. We're very good friends. Actually, last night I was speaking to Frasha. There's something we're planning. I was speaking to Gabu this morning. So there's a lot of nostalgia that we've noticed, and people are always pushing us. And now that we are still healthy and we still have the energy, we've decided, okay, why not do a tour?
Right.
A world tour, whatever. So we are back, rehearsals, we're in the studio. We've done, 2 tracks now that will be out soon as P-Unit. But now as Decimal Records, when we went our separate ways because of very many reasons, I will not get into those details.
Okay.
But Msioka was like, hey, because I got angry.
Yeah.
I got angry because of that, and I actually was like, this music, let me give it a break. You guys do whatever you want. Because don't forget that as much as I was an artist in P-Unit, I was still their manager.
Oh, okay.
I kept the books, I kept the records, I did the contracts, all that. I, being a TV and film producer, I directed most of the music videos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I had, it felt like my baby.
Right.
A lot. So when later somebody comes and says, me, I want to do my solo career, juu umechochwa huko nje tu ndio mkali kwa group. I got offended. I was like, hey, mnajua nini nyie endeleeni na hii mziki yenu.
So was there at some point where you actually weren't talking to anyone? Was there silence? Like radio silence for a while?
What do you mean? I left the country.
But you had no contact whatsoever?
No. The only person I was actually talking to back in the country was Msioka. Because Msioka knew what that did to me. Now that I'm more emotionally intelligent.
Like that. Ati, hey.
Yeah. I know I shouldn't have reacted the way I reacted. But that was the thing I could do then. That's what I knew how to do best.
But it feels like that always seems to be the story of every group, every band across the world. There will always be that phase where you guys are growing. So this is the curve. And then it gets to a point where you're hitting a plateau. And then now that's when ideas of individuality, growth, and, different feelings start to emerge. And then it's always, that's the same cycle with girl bands, boy bands. Yeah. It's kind of hard to keep it together.
It is.
And then you're kind of like stuck together.
And don't forget,
you're stuck together.
As much as you're a group, every individual has their own personality.
Yeah, being in a group is hard.
It's hard. Do you mean kuna vitu Gabu atafanya nshindo, Buddha, nini mbaya nini nakusumbua? Wajua?
And there are very many moments like that.
Like that. But we kept it together because of the brotherhood and because we were friends first before anything.
It's the same way like your folks would make you or force you to dress the same with your sister, your bro.
Yes.
Mnavalishwa the same clothes because you guys have to go everywhere together. Wherever you go, you have to be shopped for together. It was just so bloody annoying. Like, I'm stuck with you.
Funny enough,
right?
I've noticed those things, they happen at the peak of the career.
It is, isn't
it? Because I'm talking about 2015-16.
Wow.
And we had the biggest song in the region. Weka Weka was #1 across all platforms. And then we had our H.A.M.
Yeah.
And in the H.A.M, we've gone through the strategy. This is what people don't do, actually, artists. You need to have a strategy, a P&L.
I know. I'm like, okay, H.A.M.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so P-Unit Kenya Limited is a company. Because now that allows you to trade with people like Safaricom.
It's true.
Or the corporates.
Right.
As a company, as an entity.
Very smart.
And by doing that, you push away the agents.
And the jokers.
And the jokers.
Because they're the ones who are finishing you people.
Yes, you go. For example, I won't give specific names, but there's this deal that came to the table. And I was like, no, it's not worth it.
Right.
And later, those people went and reported to that corporate that, no, P-Unit said they don't want to work with you. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Then it took us, so we kept working.
Yeah.
It took us another whole 4-5 years.
Oh, wow.
And the same corporate came to us and said, okay, now we really want you guys on board. But we were told blah, blah, blah. I said, no, that's not the case. The case is we were offered this amount. And I was like, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah. So
they were shocked. They were like, what?
You mean,
So whoever offered the money offered us half of what was on the table.
And can we take a moment, please, to just recognize and also hate on promoters who are killing this industry?
Yes.
Because Boneye, I don't know how you feel, but it actually irks me when I see artists with so much talent doing mega shows, mega platforms. Like you're actually on a national platform and your take home is peanuts. Producer mekata yake, the label mekata yake, broker ndio huyo, promoter, as in, yani, it's so sad for artists.
So running, so me afterwards, so later, back in 2017, Msioka calls me on Christmas Eve. I'm in London and he's like, because when I decided to shut it, I was like, okay, I have pressure at home. Wife is like, I want us to have this baby in the UK.
Hey?
As was the plan. Because mi kuna kitu nisumbua inaitwa umaumau. Umaumau unisumbua sana. So I'm like, hizi vitu hawa lami walikuja wakaiba huku. If I get an opportunity of getting them back,
you shall.
Nitadandia. So dandying through my son, Kamau is half British, half Kenyan.
Wow.
By just virtue of being born in the UK.
Right.
So that time there was that. And then I was like, no, I'm resisting it because I need to stay for the sake of the group. Because we have tours, we have shows booked, we have the number one song. And then the group comes and says, no, I want to do this. As an AOB after we've gone through the strategy. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, like, screw it.
I was like, kwendeni pia nyinyi. So I decided there and then out.
Yeah.
So let's do what wifey is suggesting. Let's give this kid an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I went, Christmas Eve, Msioka calls me, he's like, Chege, I know how this, that's like an year after actually.
Wow.
I know how this has affected you. I know the passion. I know your business acumen. I know your vision. I know where you wanted to see P Unit at. So, I don't think you should give up. I'm like, man, so mi unataka nifanye nini? Nirudi nianza kubembeleza hawa si wa focus.
Right.
I'm like, sina your energy, niko na energy ya kubembeleza familia yangu. I have kids to take care of now.
Right.
So he tells me, listen, come back. When you come back, you're 50% of Decimal Records.
No way. Wow.
I was like, what?
And that means Msiok saw something in you. He knew it all
From
along.
Day one.
From
Msioka was the 4th member of P Unit. No, he was.
Literally, wow.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Like when he was producing the songs.
Yeah.
Tukichanga kufanya video.
Right.
Tunachanga 4-way. Msioka anachanga pia.
Right.
So Msioka was a member of P Unit from day one.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, like, wow. It's like a dream come true somehow.
Right.
Don't forget, this is Eric Msioka, not just anybody.
The one and only.
It is Msioka, and
Right.
it's like, Kuja, from where we stopped, let's start again.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer of always start again. If anything fails, start again. As long as you have the energy, just go and start again.
Yeah.
So that's how we formed Decimators.
Okay.
So Decimators is myself, Msioka, Brian Nadra, and Concorde.
Okay.
And these two guys, Concorde and Brian Nadra, it's funny how we met them because Msioka listened to Brian Nadra's demo that he had sent 5 years before on a flight to somewhere.
Yeah.
Concordia met him at a joint. He was selling shisha.
I know Concorde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Concorde comes and tells me, hey, mazi unajua muku wana hapa sana.
Yeah.
Bona na mimi naweza rap. Nikamwambia unajua ni watu wangapi uniambia wanaweza rap?
Yeah.
Kuja.
Yeah.
Nikamtoa nje hapo nikamwambia bu rap. Unza na beat gani? Nikamwambia na hiyo beat iko kwa club.
Yeah.
A guy went mad. I was like, wow. Okay.
Correct.
I told him, I think we have first guy to sign.
I'm so proud of him.
And I told Concorde,
Yeah.
here's my number. I won't call you.
Yeah.
You find time and call me. A guy calls me at 6 a.m. Bado tumelala. Wife anashindwa nani huyu ananipigia saa hii. But what that showed me is the hunger and the drive this guy had.
Yeah.
After even listening to his talent the previous night.
Correct.
So Msioka brings Brian Nadra on board. Concorde comes. We sign them up. We have 2 mega talented artists.
Correct.
Then they bring their peers. So we have Hendrix.
Yeah.
Sam. I met Hendrix Sam. Hendrix Sam is one of the best producers. He's been mentored a lot by Msioka also.
Okay.
So we have this whole band.
Yeah.
So, and from there, and what you were asking is, how do you make sure professionalism is
Stuck
instilled in these kids? Because now, Brian Nadra and Concorde don't know how to perform playback. At DJ Iweka next.
By the way, we've come a long way from that.
No. They're live band people.
Hey!
Their live, so we
Wait, talk about standards.
kama si live haidonjo. So watu wafike bei ya live.
I'm telling you, because back in the day it was like, hey DJ, weka track 3.
Alafu kwanza CD kwena scratch. Mtafurahia.
Aki, you come from far. What do you mean we have really come from far?
So now it's what? It's 6-7 years down the line.
Fantastic. And they are live performing artists.
They're live performing artists.
Right.
Funny enough, you will see the likes of I don't hate Steve or Simple Boy, but I like
we are back here. Yeah.
But I like using him as an example.
Yes.
Because I think the spotlight is on the wrong side of the industry. It's on the jokes.
Right.
And I'm very particular. I was having this discussion with BN the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, boss, our narrative, the music narrative is being controlled by people who do not respect and understand the music.
The artistry, right?
The artistry behind the music.
Yeah.
And the professionalism and where we need to be.
Even the interest. To know, like sitting here and asking you, by the way, tell me about, you know.
So, because when back in my young career, the newspapers, Kina John Mushiri, were writing beautiful articles about Kenyan music.
Yeah.
And what does that do? It makes the fan, the audience, happy and proud
to be associated. Yeah, right.
But now it's become a joke. Ati kila mtu akona smartphone na lapel mic ni journalist. Come on. People went to school for that thing. Why are you watering it down?
Right.
And they're looking at that side that it will make you laugh today. Tomorrow you've forgotten.
Right.
Instead of shining that spotlight where the music will grow and represent Kenya outside of these borders.
It's true. Because people just think, oh yeah, Bien and Arrow just, I don't know, miraculously woke up and those keys came together. And, you know, as in no one like weighs the appreciation for the time and the effort.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah. And just seeing how people from different corners are collaborating, it's very interesting to see that.
And even different corners. And that's why I'm saying, keep as an artist, if you actually really, really are serious about your music and the industry.
Right.
Get down there, get knowledge, acquire knowledge,
Correct.
read. Yeah, you'll find me reading about music business even today.
Right.
Because that's what I mean. And that how I've seen that work is we'll be at the studio. Okay, nobody's making noise about decimators or decimal records, but we don't mind because Msioka keeps telling me, mziki haiozi.
Yeah.
Mziki haitaioza. But I have seen the fruits of that because people like Platoon, for example, they're sat in London. Those are the biggest record labels, the universal music sort of people. And they zero in to Decimal Records. They zero in to Brian Adra.
Yeah.
And they contact us because they structure. It's a proper record label.
Right.
And
that's how they work.
Yeah, that's how they work.
Yeah, you can't just be like being riff-raffs just all over the place. Yeah.
Kuna watu wanaoperate studio hapo wanasema record label na wanaoperate ka kiosk. Unaingia pale ati unalipa 30,000 yako unatoka na ngoma. No. Yeah. So those people contact us and they're like, no, guys, we like what you're doing. They can go and see the comments on the YouTube channel, whatever, the quality of the music. And they're like, no, we want an album by Brian Adra.
Wow.
And they pay for that.
Wow.
So Kenya, si hatupigi kelele, but kazi inaendelea. So unapata kitu kama na Adrenaline, the album by Brian Adra, the one that has Kahora and all those songs, is in those playlists huko imeplaciwa kwa playlists zenye zinamata.
Wow, amazing.
And people don't understand how you get there, or it's just quality. The other day, I don't know whether Msioka will kill me for this because Msioka likes his things
chini ya maji. Even him, he's too chini ya maji. Msioks, if you're watching this, even you.
So the other day, Sony through Orchard did the same.
Oh, nice.
They're like, hey guys, we want an album from you guys.
Correct.
So that's the album called Birds and Bees that is dropping end of this month.
Woo-hoo!
End of June. There's a single coming out, I think 15th of June. Yeah, I'll confirm that. That's done. A single of that album. Birds and Bees. So Birds and Bees is because where we wrote the album. This
is the thing. So you moved to a part of the country that nobody would have thought Mseka maybe anazaishi.
Yes. And it's beautiful out there.
So do you want to tell us where this location is?
Yeah. It's Nanyuki. Nanyuki, just by the mountain.
I'm going back to my roots.
And I love being
now
there.
you're at home.
Yeah, I love being there.
Demoshie.
Oja Kirema. Kirema, you just wake up like this. Kirema is here.
Right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's beautiful out there.
Right.
And being born and raised in Nairobi, I somehow got tired.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was living in Kiambu Road, on Kiambu Road, and I had a meeting in Westlands.
Yeah.
I had to wake up at 5:30 if I want to make a meeting for 8.
Right.
Stuck in traffic for the most productive hours of your life, which is the morning. 2 hours drive.
Yeah.
Traffic tu, ukikasirikaga tu ukichoka.
But man, I mean, it's Kiambu Road. Kiambu Road has all the hype. Watu wa mado wako Kiambu Road. You don't miss akina Samke. You don't miss that life. Nini.
I miss kina Samke, but now you can't. You know, Samke has his business going on. He has his priorities.
Of course.
I had mine. I was after something else.
Right.
So hizo 2 hours, by the time unafika kwa meeting umechoka, umejam, hujui kumechoka kwa nini. Kuna story kina Maina Kageni na Kingangi wanaongea hapa hivi mpaka zinakuboa wewe mwenyewe kwanza za wamama. So by the time umefika huko ushachoka.
Right.
That's 2 hours of your life gone like that. Guess how long it takes? Now you can drive from Nairobi to Nanyuki 2 hours and a half.
Same difference.
Like I can drive and come to Nairobi for a meeting. Potato.
Yeah.
And my kids love being out there.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
They come to Nairobi and they're like, "Aye, daddy, pollution much."
Oh wow.
But you can tell the difference. By the time I get to Juja, I can tell the sky is changing. I can tell neza tell a roof like
maybe utafanyia wase wa Juja poa.
Hapo ndio inaanzaga pollution. Poleni, but ukipiga hapo dhika Juja nini, hapo ndio ngori inaanzaga.
Upseni wa Juja.
Wa Juja hiza maze. Unavaga mask asubuhi. Chunga afya mzee. So no, that's and the quality of life out there is so different. Na huko hakuna mtu anakusumbua. Boneye nini?
Yeah.
It's peace throughout and you get to meet different people.
It's true.
And Nanyuki is a
cosmopolitan.
That one. Because kuna watu wengi sana international.
Of course, I was going to be like, well, how do you expect the British people to know who you are? Because there's a lot of English people in Nanik. Yeah.
So, but now they know,
Now they know.
Now they know. Because eventually, huwezi jificha forever.
Right.
But kitu ya kwanza usiende kwanza urafiki na hao mabosi. As much as that is needed. Because when I went there, I remember the first guy or one of the first people that is the governor then.
Right.
Yeah. And he was introducing myself and my wife and our family. Oh, these are new guys from Nairobi. Welcome them. But you make those connections. Alafu usisahau grao. Wase wa boda say big up mbogi yangu ya Nanyuki. Wase wa grao, wase wa boda wote hao ndio wanakuaga first defense yako.
Right.
So hao wanajua sana, actually wanajua ngoma mob hata wewe hujui shiko.
Of course, I have a lot to catch up on.
Yeah.
I know, but it's great to hear. It's great to hear the progress. It's great to hear that, I mean, you're so settled as an individual.
Yeah.
And so now you come back to the city. Obviously, you've got a lot that's happening here. So what brings you back to where you're from? The capital.
Projects. So you get to find some clients who are especially the older ones. Yeah. If mzee akinipea job and expect mimi ndio niko hapo kwa site.
Okay.
So if it's development, for example, we have a few projects going on. So I find it, even wifey is a bit busy. So we're like, okay, we need to find balance and not leave the kids alone in Nanyuki for too long.
Right.
So there's that balance. So tuseme kazi imenileta. There's also the new projects at Decimal Records that are about to come out.
Okay.
Siwezi shoot video nikiwa Nanyuki as much as muavuruta huko.
Yeah.
The album Birds and Bees was written in Nanyuki, and one of the reasons it's called Birds and Bees because I write differently, so we camp.
Yeah.
So ukiandikia ngoma hapa Nairobi, utatoa Drinks na Mayengs album mzima.
And enough of that. Yes.
Now, being a person who's living a sober life, I find that I'm writing differently, I'm thinking differently. And I want that to be felt in the music that I'm writing.
But wait, here's the catch. Are you confident that without the drink Namayengs type of narrative, that Kenyans are ready and have matured for that sound? Because this is what we know. We know, and we thank Major for leading that the EO camp. Because mse watambla na madem na pombe, you know, Major has that covered, and his jams are doing very well. Anything that he touches, you know, he has that Midas touch in that area. But do you think that we have matured as an audience to accept something that doesn't have alcohol, partying, sherehe, whatever in it?
We've matured to a point that you'll understand when there's a balance.
Okay.
It can't always be about ndom, nyash, tei. Utaandika ngoma ngapi kuhusu ndom? Na tei, na haga, like.
Now you need to do one on Mogoka because it's the evening.
And actually, you know, funny enough, by going out of and I don't know, there's something you said and you phrased it specifically as Kenyans.
Yeah.
So I'll not sit here and say that, and without bragging or demeaning Kenyans, they're the people who made me who I am. But it's gotten to a point that we're not just doing music for the Kenyans.
Right. You have to have a global...
If we want to compete with the Wizkids and whatever, mi siko hapa ati ni compete na Timmy Dat ngoma zetu zihit Eldoret tuende show ya Campo.
Wow.
Yeah. and that's the mentality. I'm training even Kina Brian Nadra and Kokoli to think on that level. I'm somebody who's collaborated with Wizkid. Yeah, I think the first East African or whatever. Right. And seeing where Wizkid is, I'm like, hey, hata kama si mimi, why can't Brian Nadra get onto that level?
True.
With Burna Boy. So that's where we are pushing the narrative. So even with the streaming and the data, I'm like, okay, these people, if Sony is listening to us and giving us projects,
there is mad potential.
There's mad potential.
By the way, you guys have the sky is the limit for you guys. There's so much you can do.
And we keep pushing. There's a lot of music out there on the Simo Records channel that people don't understand or don't know about.
This is amazing. And speaking about now your journey of sobriety, I mean, when was it when you were just like, what the F am I doing? You know what?
We have time for that story.
In a nutshell, since you decided from that day, and what made you just say, screw it, I'm just done with pints.
So,
I'm done with pints.
Funny enough, this week is actually my first year anniversary sober.
Woo! Can we take a shot to that?
Yeah. Yes.
That's not what I... Well, I guess we'll have to settle for this.
Nikaa juzi ilikuwa sherehe mahali fulani, ilikuwa birthday ya Gabu. And then I was like, hey boss, nataka kiti mimi, watu wananisumbua, nataka kukaa chini. Juu huwezi kuwa kwa club na unakunywa chai alafu unakunywa chai no, chai nataka kibosi.
I know, right?
Kwa kikombe ka white nini nataka kibosi. Chai yako unaweza kunywa kwa umesimama. Haina ile. So a year ago, something happened.
Right.
An incident. And I could clearly frame the cause of that incident to alcohol. And I started asking myself questions that I had never asked myself before. I started drinking at around 14 years old. And by the time I was realizing this, I was 44. Non-stop. And you can imagine the amount of alcohol in the industry for creatives.
I know. It's always in your face. It's always
there.
available.
It's free.
It's free because everybody's like, that's Boneye, let me buy you a drink. Right?
And
I
then,
get it.
Hata kwa rider mnaenda show promoter unamwambia niaje hapo lazima nipigwe JD mbili chupa moja champagne na bangi nivute vile mimi nataka. Or else sure tupigi. Unashika.
You artists are such, I don't even know what.
So easy vitu zimekuwa constant. So I don't remember one time of my life that was actually sober. And it took me aback. And the incident was my rock bottom. I was like, no, something has to change. And then I tried stopping. And I couldn't. I'm like, wait, is this a problem? So I started doing my research on alcoholism, addiction. And then now I could see it. I could see it even in my uncles.
You're right.
My family members.
You're predisposed.
I'm predisposed.
Yeah.
The People we've buried, my uncles, my cousins, they all died because of alcohol.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it got to a point I'm like, okay, Chege, long story short, I booked myself into rehab.
You did?
Yes.
Wow.
Booked myself into the rehab. I was there for 3 months. And what I learned there, because, there are counseling sessions with life skills.
Yeah.
That was what I was mentioning, emotional intelligence.
Right?
I was like, these things should be taught in schools, should
Literally.
be taught to kids, to our kids. And I made sure, because now me being a potential addict or an addict, it's very possible for my son and whatever. So when I was going to rehab, I made sure my sons know where I am, what is going on.
Correct.
So that they stay away off this thing. So it's a big problem, and I think by doing so, I finally found what I like to call purpose.
That's the thing.
It's something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, you thought music was your purpose.
I thought music was my purpose.
Until,
but then I was like, okay, now I have all this.
Yeah.
I think this is my purpose. And it feels like it.
Yeah.
And I'm working on several projects to actually influence and try fight the stigma, because people are scared of, mimi mtu alienda rehab, there's a lot of misinformation and stigma around it that needs to be thrown out of the window.
I love it. By the way, do you want to join me on campus tours talking about this?
I have a proposal. I'm going to send you something actually immediately after this.
Wow, great.
I want to come with you. I want to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to the young people, and I want to entertain them while doing it.
Hey! Did you hear that? He's saying it fast on this podcast. Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, Wasewa Campo, we're coming to you with Boneye by my side, by the way. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah, because it's time that we actually started doing things differently. Correct. And give them what we probably never had.
Yeah, and I'm not demonizing alcohol.
Yeah.
Because it's only a percentage. It's only 13%. It's only 13% of people like us who have the potential of being genius, that have that problem of being addicts. Ukiamua ni kuenda unaenda. It's 13% only.
I saw a meme where some politician was saying the youth of this country are being finished by alcohol, and then the young people responded and said, "But we are also finishing it." So what is the problem?
There's a wrong approach to it, which I'd like the government to actually think about. You cannot punish addiction out of someone.
Yeah,
you can't
do it.
Rehabilitation is expensive as well. So I want to build, I have this thing.
Yeah.
I want to build a rehab by the mountain, because I think that's the best place to
like a retreat type of thing. That's going to be amazing. Okay.
It's in the pipeline. So I think government needs help, or our voice in whatever they're trying to do. Utatandika mse, saa hii unaenda umefunga bar, mse ni addict, umefunga bar umemweka ndani, mse atauliwa na withdrawal symptoms. Atashake huko nini akufe jumwili imezoea tei. So how do you do that? Kuna hizi vitu wanasema za TVET. Like we can come in and assist. Rehabilitate these guys that you want into those institutions.
Correct.
And then support them through the rehabilitation and reintegration back to society.
That's the thing.
Be gentle with them.
So we need a very multi-sectoral approach.
Correct.
Towards dealing with the issue of alcoholism.
And funny enough, I was doing the proposal, I was like, okay, let me check how this ticks off the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And by just doing that concert I'm talking about, that tour we are talking about, you end up covering like 7 of the SDGs.
Wow, amen to that. So there's a lot of work cut out for you. You seem to be extremely passionate, not just about what you're doing biashara-wise, but with the youth. Those are the people who are going to be subscribing to this channel. So what's your message, as we start saying by Boneye, to people? And then you'll tell us which Shimo will find you again after this.
Maybe where we bumped into each other. So, kuna msel jana aliniuliza kwa TikTok. Imagine nimejoin mpaka TikTok. Pressure ya social media. So kuna msel aliniuliza, wewe nilisikia ukisema ati wezi advice upcoming. Nikamuuliza mimi, but that's something I would say. I'm like, if anything, find your path. Find your path, be true to it, regardless. Me, by the time naanza mziki, from my mother to everybody around me, like, what is this you're trying? Well, kuna kitu unaweza.
Yeah.
And where that was coming from is because of failures. I want to call it failures of the previous generation of artists. Like msia hizi ya familia, hizi run bees, tu na madem na whatever, alafu unakufukiwa maskini. So that actually, instead of making me feel bad, gave me so much good anger to prove everybody wrong.
True. That you can do it.
You can do it, and you can do it the right way.
Correct.
So put professionalism first.
Okay.
Know what it entails to do music business, because you're in the business. Utaki kufanya mziki alafu kufe maskini.
And we see a lot of that.
Because fame ikishaingia, ukwe popular, madem ndio wanajipa, uko na float kidogo, ukienda pale una flash kwa nini kwa klabu, alafu hiyo kitu siku moja tu itoke. Hauna kitu unaweza jishikilia, and that's how you end up depressed. Even with the sobriety journey, I was talking to somebody called Kiongo, and I'm like, let's drive this actually towards the creatives.
Correct. Yeah. Because
the creatives are most affected.
It's true.
And if these people can preach this gospel, then you have more influence and people change a lot.
Correct.
That said, do what you need to do. Ukisikia uko na shida na tei, by the way, usiogope kenye watu watasema. Seek help.
Yes, I love it. Yes.
DM me tujue hata kama sitapata doya nini ya kupeleka rehab. Rehab is expensive, and that's something I'm lobbying the government also.
Right.
And the insurance companies.
Right.
I'm like, it's a disease. Why are you looking at it as a moral issue?
Actually, yes, it is a chronic disease now.
It is. So DM hala, unaweza DM shikwamo ni DM. Tuone vile unaenda. Like,
let's do this together.
Let's do this together.
I love it.
Yeah.
That is such a powerful message. I think there's another message I'm dying to hear. What's your message to MCSK?
Ashiko, you just got me like annoyed, like moja too far. because I'm emotionally intelligent and I know how to deal with anger. So I do my breathing, kwanza.
No, you have to do one for Music Society, but as we're just saying, like.
Okay, now I'm good. I can talk about it. We've had thuggery and thieves in these offices for way too long. I'm going to give you an example. Remember, for Kare, remember how Kare was big? Kare was number 1 song in Africa.
Right.
On all radio stations across Africa for 2 months.
Yeah.
Then we go to MCSK and they offer us 400 shillings as royalty.
I remember when you guys came to the studio.
Where? Then now I was like, wait a minute. Now I got interested.
Now like, you are mad. You are
I was mad and I got interested. I'm like, how is it 400 shillings? Why is it not 4 million?
Right.
And now I got to understand how the system works. I got in there. They didn't like us much.
Of
because
course.
Now we're asking questions and whatever. So there's a cartel around those people that make sure their people are the ones in office.
Correct.
We've tried fighting. We've tried. And, you know, the industry is worth, last time I checked, the Kenyan music industry is worth 2 billion a year, annually. 2 billion. And it could be more now with everybody else doing music.
Of course.
It's more.
Yeah.
But you can imagine how much these crooks will want to hold on to that money that they've
so
not
unfair.
worked for.
Yes.
And I'm like, nikiona mtu kama Ezekiel, ushio Mutuae, akialia wana na hiyo kipara yake na mustache fake. Ni kama mpiga wig kwa mustache. Ananijamisha kwa sababu haizi tutukana. Kuna time alisema wasanii hawana akili. I'm like, unaongea kuhusu wasanii wa gani?
I know, right?
Unaongea kuhusu wasanii wa gani?
Tuambie.
Umekuwa hapo uget your wasanii do. It's 70%. Simple mathematics, simple rule.
Right.
70% distribute to the owner of the music. Keep 30. Si mambo ya ati we fought a lot. So in between lobbying, because I'm the secretary of Nairobi Musicians Association.
Okay.
So we have to be actively in there.
Don't give up.
No. There's no giving up. It's a lot of money. Otherwise, by the music industry and rules and regulations, now I say waka comply to what is supposed to be. You make billionaires overnight.
Right.
In this country.
Right.
Overnight. Like kutamka asubuhi upate mtu kama Godi tena sahii anaweza buy Bentley. Anaweza jenga mansion bila pressure.
That's what's up.
Juu hizo do ziko.
Right.
Wase tunaweza wataja majina hapa,
Yeah.
but ilifika time mpaka we felt threatened.
Yeah.
Like life yangu iko threatened. Wasona tutanyamazisha huu Boneye aje.
You're right.
Because unaguza malido yao iko. Na si do yao. Malido yako iko unaitisha.
That's
and what thing I want to say here categorically and very clearly to the MCSKs, the camps, the priests of this country, we will come for our money and people, we will go to jail. People will go to jail.
I'm all for that, by the way.
Because ile kazi mimi nimefanya, I have portfolio yangu ni 100 songs plus. Na si tu songs tu, ni hit songs. Nataka watu wangu wakule hiyo do. So sitaacha until siku ya mwisho.
Yes, people take it lightly. It is as serious as that.
It's so serious.
Wow. And I hope you have the artists rallying behind you. I hope you're still psyching them up not to give up as well.
If you're not rallying behind me and you're not pushing the narrative yourself, then you shouldn't be in the industry.
Period.
Because ni pesa yako inachezewa.
Whoa. You know what? I want to also take this opportunity to just thank you and thank the like-minded artists who are like you, Boneye, because I know when I started my show on Kameme, in 2000 and I don't know, was it 7 or 8? That was when I think Juakali was the size of this guy. Size maze.
Mse kuna comparison mo mse wa Juja. Says ya Juakali akianza.
Okay, fine, let's go with this other guy here.
Okay.
I mean, Juakali was like this. Today when I see Paul, because I call him Paul. Paulo. I'm like, guys, see, Pesa looks good on you. When you see Nonini today, you're like, see, money looks good on you. But it was a struggle.
Yes.
It was such a struggle. And so to see you people fighting for what's yours and to make sure that artists get what they deserve from their hard-earned work, Maze, you guys have really trekked. And you deserve it. It's high time.
Yeah.
Boneye, thank you so much for being part of this podcast. We're going to continue these conversations, and I want to challenge you to have music conversations with entertainers. Yes. We'll support you on that. Let's try and moderate that with you.
Oh, let's do that, actually.
Let's get creatives together.
Yes.
Moderate something, and then ask them, you will broader, what is your problem?
Yes.
Terrence Creative, VP.
Yes.
Wewe Butita, Sema. Nonini, you're a legend in this game. Yes. Monski, Nameless, Wahoo. Yes. You guys come together. Let's have those conversations.
Correct.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah. So, it's VP.
Yeah, it's poa. It's easy. Bogibenda, aka Kanakani Kora, aka kijana ya shosho. Aka weka ile aka unataka. Kuna msali nuza mbona sija retire, nikaangalia hivi nikamwambia, mali nimefika, I'm too old to retire. Naweza retire sasa nipate ma depression, ma withdraw. So wacha niendelee tu na debe.
Love it. Thank you so much, Boneye, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you subscribe and, of course, catch more of these conversations next week as we have another episode of Hello Day. Bye, Boneye. Bogibenda.
Yeah, man.
This guy.
You guy.